Last summer, I returned to choreographing and performing dance after a very long time, a long break. And I've been reflecting on that break and the fact that actually, in some ways, now looking back, it doesn't feel like a break at all. It feels like it's been a period of germination, a period of real growth, even though I wasn't aware of that growth in my dance practice, because I was continuing to dance for myself sometimes, but not very much. It was still very much a yoga practice, a sadhana, but I was hardly performing at all. And so looking back at it, it feels like the fact that I had stopped expressing dance, that I had stopped sharing it publicly, allowed me to turn inwards. It allowed the dance to percolate, the movements, everything that I had learnt, the body attitudes, the bhava, the whole feeling of it. All of that really percolated and developed on its own without me really doing anything. And I have found this absolutely fascinating. And the reason I know that it's developed is that when I would go into the studio, and I remember distinctly around maybe 4 years ago, 5 years ago, I'll have to look, but it's around that time, when I started a practice of going into the studio very early in the morning and just moving, just dancing for myself. And I noticed that the movements that were flowing out of my body were movements that I had not seen or come across before. They were just new movements emerging. And that was when I realized, okay, something big has happened here without any of my conscious input. The dance just simply developed on its own. And that's pretty remarkable for a classical dance training where every single part of the body is directed and honed and trained. And for this flow to come out of this sort of flow of new movement was really remarkable. And I think that the reason for that is that classical Indian dance forms and art forms are in fact all aspects of a yogic practice, a deeply spiritual practice, and they have their own intelligence about them. There is a real coherence to the way that the body and the mind, all of this is held. And I think that by withdrawing from performance and withdrawing from expression, that innate intelligence simply worked on its own, and it is now flowering in the new work that I'm creating.